It is called HWH Immune Shield. So we're going to talk for the next little bit about protecting our health. So Janine just mentioned about the immune system and the mask, and our real protection is going to always come from our immune system. There's just nothing else that can even come close to protecting our health. And so that means that we have to educate ourselves, right? And we have to educate other people to know how to offer themselves that protection, right? Everyone's kind of grasping at like, what do I do? Do I just stay home? Do I just wear a mask everywhere? Do I wear 3 masks? What do I do? Because everyone wants to protect themselves these days. And that's fine and good, but at the end of the day, the only thing that is going to protect you from something that is microscopic, right, is your immune system. That's what it's designed to do. And so I'm really happy that we have, are offering something like this that is a very simple thing that we can offer people to support that system. So let's talk about what our immune system is, just real quick, high level. I won't get too sciencey. Our immune system is a very intricate system in our body that protects our health from anything on the outside that's trying to get in, right? So that's bacteria, viruses, pollutants, toxins, and even things that are inside of our body that start to go awry, like when cells start to mutate and not be friendly to our body. Our immune system will spring into action and help to take care of those mutated cells and try to get rid of them. So our immune system actually includes millions of cells, proteins, hormones, all sorts of different things that are all working together to form a intercommunicating network, right? That just means everything talks to itself. Sometimes when I think about the immune system, my mind goes back to an old slide that my dad used to show when he would give lectures about the immune system. And he would have little guys that looked like Pac-Mans, and they'd have walkie-talkies. And I just love that. It's such a simple way to, remember and to, sort of grasp this whole concept of our immune system is a whole bunch of cells, and they're all talking to each other, and they all are working together with the sole purpose, really, of protecting our health and keeping us as healthy, right? They work for us, right? So we just need to nourish and help them, right? So our immune cells, they communicate quickly to each other. They use those little walkie-talkies to talk to each other when they sense something. And there's cells that, go in and gobble things up. And then there's cells that stimulate other cells. There's all kinds of things happening, and we never even know it's happened, right? We might just know, oh, okay, I felt a little sore throat one day, and then the next day I was fine. Or maybe it didn't work so well and we ended up being sick for a couple of days. So, or worse, right? So it really, that all depends on the strength and the communication between those immune cells and how effectively they are working all together as this system to neutralize and eliminate those threats to our health. So it is our job to support our immune system. It works really hard for us. So we need to make sure that it is as strong as possible. So the cells of our immune system require micronutrients to function properly. So what is a micronutrient? So that just means it's a nutrient that our body only needs a tiny amount of. So micro means small. Right? For example, our vitamins and minerals. We only need milligram or sometimes even microgram amounts of vitamins and minerals for our immune system to function properly. So the difference might be like a macronutrient is like protein, carbohydrates, fat, things that we need a lot of, like gram amounts of, but micronutrients are just the things that we need a little bit of. So that's, all of our vitamins and minerals. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So research shows that specific micronutrients play a big role in our immune system, and a deficiency of any one of these micronutrients can really affect how well our immune system responds when it's facing a threat. So we really have to make sure that we want to be like that little yoga girl, like kicking the bacteria and viruses and all of those things out of our way so we can stay healthy and strong. Then we have to maintain adequate levels of these micronutrients to have that really strong, robust immune response. So let's talk about some of the most important nutrients for our immune system. So the first is vitamin A. There are a lot of studies that show that vitamin A helps to improve our immune response, particularly when supporting our respiratory health. So when we're sick, one of the things that happens is our body rapidly uses vitamin A. It just burns through it. And so this has to be replenished, or we develop a deficiency, and then our body becomes worse and worse at fighting off that virus or whatever it's facing. So we have to make sure that we have enough vitamin A going into any sort of exposure, which means every day. And that during that illness that we're supplementing or perhaps eating, but that's difficult, enough vitamin A to kind of keep up with that use of vitamin A that our body is, kind of burning through. And then even after, we have to replenish the immune system with plenty of vitamin A. So, when my kids are sick, I give them a little extra vitamin A. That's just something I'm in because I just think, okay, they're burning through their vitamin A right now, trying to fight off this cold or flu or, whatever they're dealing with. Of course, most people don't know that. And so it's, that's one of the reasons why sometimes sickness lingers and lingers is because they don't know, oh, my body has been using up all my vitamin A. I need to be replenishing it. And I need to make sure that I have adequate, stores of it. So large doses of actual preformed vitamin A can be toxic. So it's not something that you don't want a lot of preformed vitamin A in a daily supplement. That's why, like I said, I only will give it during an active infection. But what you do want every day is you want to be sure that you are consuming a lot of beta carotene. You cannot give your body too much beta carotene, almost. Maybe if you're juicing carrots all day long or something, that's possible. But even then, it's not going to be toxic. So you want to give your body plenty of plenty of beta carotene, because then what it can do is convert it to vitamin A as and when your body needs it. So there's a great balance there. So each serving of our new Immune Shield contains 5,000 international units of beta carotene. So that's a nice amount just to make sure that you're getting plenty of beta carotene, that it's available when your body needs it so that it can convert into vitamin A and help support your immune response. So vitamin C, it's probably the most popular vitamin for immune support. We all think, even people that don't seem to know much about nutrition, when they start to get sick or start to feel a cold coming on, they're like, oh, I need vitamin C, right? Like pretty much everybody knows that, but it's super, super important. Our immune cells require 40 times more vitamin C than any other cells in your body. So that alone should tell us our immune system cells are thirsty or hungry for vitamin C. They really need a lot of it, and they don't do well when they don't have what they need. So a lot of studies actually show that supplementing with vitamin C can reduce symptoms and shorten the duration of the common cold. The common cold is going to be typically a viral infection. And so we know that you can shorten that process and boost your immune system so that your immune system helps to fight off that viral infection more when you have adequate vitamin C in your system. So what vitamin C does, among many other things, one of its primary functions is it actually stimulates your white blood cells, which your white blood cells are a primary part of your immune system. So it stimulates those to go into action. So it's one thing to take a lot of vitamin C when you're already feeling sick, and it can help, but it's almost too late for it to have its biggest impact. Because by the time you feel symptoms, your body's already dealing with something. So what you really want is to make sure that you have a lot of vitamin C in your daily regimen, in your diet, in your supplement regimen, so that as soon as those white blood cells see something in your body that shouldn't be there, they can boost those white blood cells, so they spring into action and they fight it. And you might not even know that you were exposed to something. You might never have a sniffle. And that is happening all the time, where things invade us and our immune system goes into action and we are just going about our day and we don't even know it. So having a lot of vitamin C in the system before we get sick is really, really important. And then of course, we start to feel those symptoms, we boost our levels up, and that can really help kind of make sure that we get back to, our daily life sooner rather than later. So unfortunately, the RDA for vitamin C is actually really, really low. The RDA for most of our vitamins are set to where we won't go into an actual deficiency disease state. So that's not enough for adequate health and vitality. It's certainly not enough for our immune systems, which need tons of vitamin C. Yet, even with that bar set extremely low for vitamin C, 25% of us don't even meet that. And so if you think about the average person with a processed food diet, they're really not getting a lot of vitamin C. Vitamin C is very, very fragile. So it's one thing that we test a lot for in our lab, actually, just as a side note, because if anything in that product is going to degrade, it's going to be the vitamin C. So we always test for that to make sure that no degradation has taken place, because if the vitamin C is still there, the other sort of more hardy nutrients are still going to be there too. But that's something that we always look for when we're looking at, shelf life and things like that. So with our new Immune Shield, each serving contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C to just help make sure that is well over the RDA, but that's where we want to be, right? To make sure that you are getting a good daily amount of vitamin C with each serving of your Immune Shield. All right, I already talked about vitamin D earlier, but of course we had to put it in our immune shield too, because vitamin D is so incredibly important for the immune system. You've probably been hearing a lot about vitamin D in the news if you're following more of the holistic, news that's been, out there the past year or so. A lot of people are talking about vitamin D and how important it is, since everyone's really trying to focus on their immune systems right now. And it's really one of the most important things that we could be doing for ourselves, especially right now. So all of our immune cells contain receptor sites for vitamin D. So they desperately need this nutrient. Vitamin D plays hundreds of roles in the body, and one of its most profound impacts is on the cells of our immune system. So you probably hear about a lot of different benefits of vitamin D, and don't let that throw you when you think, oh, well, I thought vitamin D was good for my bones, or I thought it was good for, this or that. You'll hear that about a lot of nutrients, because it's not like a drug where, a drug might only have one benefit because it's only like forcing the body to do one thing. But our nutrients that are found in our foods, that's what, God gave us to function as a healthy person. So of course, they're all going to have multiple roles in the body. And so you might take vitamin D for your heart, and you're also benefiting your immune system at the same time. So whatever you're hearing, when you hear lots of different benefits about a nutrient, it's not that one is right and one is wrong. It's that it does so many different things in the body. So you might see it in different products for different reasons. So like I mentioned previously, it's worth repeating, 80% of us are deficient in vitamin D. So it's something that's really, really important that we supplement. It really plays a key role in helping the body defend itself against viruses. That's why we're hearing a lot about it recently. And when we're deficient in vitamin D, what studies have shown is that people who are deficient, and remember that's about 80% of us, that increases our risk of having an active infection take over in the body. So if we could just address that one thing, even if that was the only thing we addressed, we would be, better than 80%. We'd be doing better than 80% of the people out there, right? Because we need that vitamin D to help reduce that risk of any type of illness kind of taking over. Another key thing about vitamin D to know is that it helps to prevent an overreaction of the immune system. So you probably heard a lot about that. We're getting quite an education in the immune system in the news lately, right? They're always talking about antibodies and, cytokine storm and all these kind of things. And that when they talk about that, when they talk about a cytokine storm, they're saying that the body is overreacting. And so the immune system is just going haywire, like it's going into overdrive, and that overdrive is there's not a break, right? Like it's all gas, no break kind of a situation going on in the body. And having adequate vitamin D status actually helps prevent that from happening. It helps prevent that overreaction of the immune system. It's an immune modulator, so to speak. So really important that we maintain good vitamin D status right now. So each serving of Immune Shield contains 1,000 international units of vitamin D. Also, vitamin E. Research shows that supplementing with vitamin E can enhance our immune function. It boosts the production of those white blood cells. Like I mentioned, those are our immune cells that spring into action as soon as we encounter something. And this is going to help naturally increase our resistance to any kind of infection. So again, when we're deficient in vitamin E, that also impairs our immune system function, particularly against respiratory symptoms and allergic symptoms. So allergies are an immune system response as well. So our immune system is imbalanced. So anything that helps support balance to the immune system without driving it in one direction or the other, but just saying, here's the nutrition that your immune system needs to function well, that is going to help with allergic symptoms as well. Vitamin E is a really powerful antioxidant. You guys know about antioxidants. We talk about them all the time. Vitamin E is one of those natural antioxidants, just like vitamin C. But what vitamin E does that makes it unique is that it protects the actual lipid layer of our cells from oxidation. So it's a fat soluble, so it helps to protect that fatty sort of membrane of our cells, which can have a lot of benefits. So people take it for their heart, people take it for their skin and their hair and nails and all that kind of stuff. People take it to help with their hormones. Anytime you're enhancing the function of your cells and those cell membranes, you're doing a lot of things for the body. So Immune Shield contains 100 international units of mixed tocopherols, and that's important because vitamin E it's more like a family of nutrients. It's not just one thing. And so when you see that term mixed tocopherols, you know that it has that whole family, which is really what you want, especially for optimum immune health. All right, so those are our vitamins. Let's talk about minerals for just a minute. So zinc. Zinc is a mineral that's really important for optimal immune function. Zinc helps the immune cells function appropriately so that they will attack any invading pathogen. They help to make sure that when a virus gets in your cell, that it can't grow and replicate. And that's how viruses work, right? Bacteria just sort of multiply. The virus has to get in your cell to actually replicate and start to kind of take over. And so if we have adequate zinc in our cells, that blocks the virus from being able to do that as rapidly as it would when we are in a state of zinc deficiency. Our immune system can't function as well. The virus can come in, it can start to replicate, and then everything kind of goes haywire and we can get really sick. So zinc supplementation has been shown to reduce the duration of the common cold. So you've probably heard about that. And it also, of course, is going to help us respond appropriately to any sort of virus because of that mechanism of action where it's blocking the replication inside of our cells. So Immune Shield contains 15 milligrams of zinc per serving. And last but not least, we have selenium. Selenium is another essential mineral required for a healthy immune system. Just as a side note, it's also required for thyroid function. I know a lot of us struggle with thyroid health, so just thought I would throw that in there. And supplementation has been shown to support immunity, particularly that resistance to viruses that is so incredibly important. In addition to initiating that immune response, selenium also helps to regulate that excessive immune response. Like I mentioned previously with vitamin D, selenium tends to work in the same way to make sure that once our body sort of sees an infection, it starts the inflammation process, which is a normal process at first. But sometimes that inflammation process can get out of hand, and those immune cytokines and things like that can sort of go haywire, and you can get into that situation where it's all gas, no brake. Vitamin D regulates that, and also selenium helps to regulate that. So it's a really important mineral for just making sure that we are strengthening, but also modulating our immune response so that it's healthy and appropriate. So again, low intake of selenium is associated with weak immune function. It's also associated with cognitive decline and an overall increased risk of mortality. So definitely something that we want to make sure that we're getting a lot of. And it's not found in a whole lot of foods. So it's important that we, not only know what foods we want to have, to make sure that we're getting good amounts of these minerals like nuts and vegetables and things like that, but also to make sure that we're supplementing with some type of selenium. So Immune Shield contains 50 micrograms of selenium. We only need a little bit. And in terms of the amounts of vitamins and minerals that are in this product, I just want you guys to know I formulated it in such a way so that you're getting a good amount to meet your immune system's basic micronutrient needs on a daily basis. But if you are in a situation where you feel that sniffle coming on, you feel a little bit of that sore throat, you feel like for whatever reason, maybe I feel like I've been exposed to something, or maybe I just am really stressed out right now, and so I feel like I might be predisposing myself to some type of illness, and I want to strengthen my immune system even more for a given time period, you can double up your amount. So you could take it, with breakfast and lunch, for example, or breakfast and dinner, or however you want to do it. And you're not going to be in a situation where it works for one nutrient, but now you're taking too much of something else, right? So it's a balanced formula in that if you want to take 2 a day, that's the perfect amount for your basic maintenance of making sure you're getting those micronutrient needs met. You're building a solid foundation for your immune system. But if you need to take it twice a day or even 3 times a day short term, there's not like a limiting nutrient to where you say, well, I can't because then I'm going to get toxic in this, or I'm going to get too much of this. So it's a balanced formula. So if you need to take a little bit more, of course, you might want to look at your other supplements and all of that just to make sure. But you can, I would feel comfortable. I'll just put it that way. I'll be super compliant here. I would feel comfortable taking it 2 or possibly 3 times a day if I was in a situation where I needed to. Just put it like that. Okay. We also, of course, being a superfood company, we had to add superfoods. And I am a huge fan of real, whole, God-given food, right? We cannot always get enough micronutrients from our food supply, but that's where superfoods come in. And that's where these just isolated, nutrients that we're supplementing with come in. But I always like to add some whole foods to that, right? Because whole foods contain phytonutrients. They contain nutrients that we haven't even probably discovered yet. They contain, just a base of those plant-based nutrients that are going to help everything work better. Like we know that when you drink aloe with your vitamins, you're absorbing your vitamins better, right? Because that aloe has nutrients in there that are just helping the body to recognize everything better and to absorb everything something better. So it just made sense to me to add a base of superfoods to this formula. So there's cracked cell chlorella. Sorry, I just noticed a typo. Cracked cell chlorella is in the product. Chlorella is a great superfood. It's similar to spirulina in that it's high in chlorophyll. It's very cleansing and detoxifying to the body. The cracked cell just means that it's cracked. On a microscopic level, it's kind of been cracked so that the nutrients are more absorbable because it does have a strong shell around it. So we also have spirulina in there. You guys know and love your spirulina. I know you do. There's tons of research behind spirulina. Our company was founded in part by the father of spirulina, Dr. Christopher Hills. That history goes back many years. And so we, of course, have the best quality spirulina out there. And of course, aloe. We know that aloe increases nutrient absorption. We know that aloe in and of itself is amazing for the immune system. And so I would definitely encourage you, keep drinking your aloe. There's not enough of each of these things in there to stand on its own, but it's just a base. It's providing a base of those phytonutrients and those plant-based pigments and chlorophyll and all of those things that are just going to help make sure that all the vitamins and minerals that I just talked about are absorbed better and work better in the body. So there you have it, our HWH Immune Shield. It's 4 vitamins, 2 minerals, 3 superfoods. You could take all 7 of those individually, or all, 8, 9 of those individually, or you can have just one convenient product, which is our HWH Immune Shield.